Welcome to Hidden History. We're thrilled to have you here with us on this journey of exploration and discovery. This is a place where we delve into the unseen, the forgotten, the overlooked, those pockets of time that went unnoticed in the grand scale of human history. Like and subscribe for even more overlooked events in history that you won't find anywhere else. Have some hidden history you'd like for us to look into and share? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's get to it. May 1800, the eminent French military leader Napoleon Bonaparte embarks on his second campaign into Italy. Journeying across the formidable terrain of the Alps via the Great San Bernardo Pass, his army descends into the expansive region of the Valle d'Aosta. His well-trained military forces would soon be confronted by an unforeseen and fearsome impediment. This daunting bastion, garrisoned by 400 Austro-Piedmontese soldiers, Fort Bard. The events that transpired in the days to come were momentous in shaping the trajectory of Napoleon's Italian campaign and career, often hailed as a testament and prelude to his military brilliance. Our story begins on May 14, 1800, when an imposing force of 40,000 men, the French Reserve Army, under the command of Napoleon Bonaparte and his trusted general Jean, embarked on a strategic move across the Great St. Bernardo Pass. Their objective was to catch the Austro-Piedmontese army off guard in the Po Valley. Regrettably, their march was impeded at the small village of Bard in the Valle d'Aosta. There, they encountered a defensive outpost situated on a stoic hill. This outpost was Fort Bard, offering a watchful eye over the narrow gorge along the Dorabalte River. The fort was under the stern watch of 400 Austro-Croatian soldiers commanded by Captain Stockard von Bernkopf. Upon the arrival of Lannes's troops, after successfully thwarting the Austrians' effort to impede the French descent at Châtillon, Marshal Louis-Alexandre Berthier established the advancement's headquarters at the nearby village of Verres, a few kilometers away. It was from here that Berthier dispatched the advancing army's initial concerns to the first consul. In his communication, he outlines the fort's formidable challenges and the difficulties it presented for the passage of troops and artillery, foreshadowing the events to come. By the evening of May 20th, Lannes's advancing forces had managed to move past Bard using bypass routes. This effective maneuver would effectively isolate the fort and sever its communication with Ivrea, a Piedmontese strategic stronghold. Division General Pierre Dupont de l'Etang, keen of the maneuver's strategic advantage, promptly demanded Commander Bernkopf's surrender, a demand that was promptly denied. Upon receiving Bernkopf's refusal, Dupont planned for a surprise attack on the village of Bard. Exploiting the cover of darkness on the nights of May 21st and 22nd, soldiers of the 58th Half Brigade of the Loisson Division, under the direction of General Jacques-Nicolas Gobert, succeeded to breach the Coletto Gate. Simultaneously, a second group of engineers had scaled the cliffs of the adjacent mountain in order to overcome the surrounding palisades. Having breached the defences, they secured the upper and lower parts of the village by lowering the drawbridge into Bard on the Donner side of the hamlet. The breach forced the Austrian garrison to retreat into the fortress. Following this surprise night raid, the village capitulated, giving the French control over the tiny hamlet. The French, now entrenched within the vacated residences of the town, began an exchange of daily gunfire from the town's windows onto the fortification. Despite the onslaught and the French advancement, Captain Stockard von Bernkopf remained resilient, maintaining control of the fort. On May 22nd, General Dupont issued a second invitation to Captain Bernkopf to surrender, which, again, was met with refusal. Following the exchange, a detachment consisting of 400 French soldiers assumed positions in Albard, a position overlooking the fort from the mountain adjacent to it. Their target? The low batteries and entrenchments facing the Dora. 3 pieces of artillery, seized from the Austrians during the seminal Battle of Châtillon, were transported to this vantage point with the assistance of local farmers, who were enticed by a reward of 1,200 francs for their services. Despite their efforts, the firepower was insufficient to coerce the fort into surrender. On May 26th, a force of 300 French grenadiers staged another surprise assault, only to be met with a devastating onslaught of fire, resulting in over 200 casualties. After enduring 24 hours of relentless artillery fire from the Austrian position and having repelled one infantry assault after another, the French stalemate left them with no other choice but to lay siege to the fort. This task was assigned to General Joseph Chabran, commander of the rear guard, whose division was considered the weakest due to its composition largely of conscripts experiencing their military debut. The fort was encircled by 1,243 riflemen, under the command of 119 officers who assumed strategic positions, 302 in the village of Bard, 283 on the Hone side, 375 on the side of Donus, and 283 on the elevated Albard heights. The French artillery, consisting of 8 and 4 gun batteries, kept the besieged under constant pressure. Despite the relentless onslaught, they failed to inflict significant damage to the fortress structures. Urgency grew to reposition 12mm cannons closer to the fort's main gate and shoot from close range, all while remaining out of reach of the defenders. A decisive move was implemented on the nights of May 30th and 31st when the Andreossi cannon, a colossal weapon with a muzzle weighing nearly a ton, was discreetly transported to the presbytery of the parish church and positioned next to the bell tower, hidden from the defenders' gaze and shielded by the towering rocky walls. On the morning of June 1st, the bombings began, resulting in the gradual collapse of the connecting palisades, creating large breaches in the fort's walls. With the fort's defences weakening, surrender was demanded. Commander Bernkopf, defeated and with no other choice, responded by hoisting the white flag. The terms of capitulation, with the honour of war, were signed on the evening of June 1st, 1800. The siege of Fort Bard endured for 2 grueling weeks. During the siege, Napoleon and the majority of his French troops, in danger of being stalemated and at risk of incoming support from Piedmont, were forced to circumvent the area via the nearby Albard Hill, leading to devastating losses. Those losses and failures throughout the French advancement that lead to the eventual siege of the fort greatly displeased Napoleon. Shortly after the Austrian surrender, the disgruntled general commanded the razing of Fort Bard. Although the fort would eventually be rebuilt in 1830, it was here where a mere 400 men stalled Napoleon's advancing army, thus halting his march onto the Piedmont plain and thwarting his plans for a surprise attack on opposing forces in Italy. Historical chronicles suggest that the siege of Fort Bard was Napoleon's baptism by fire in the Italian campaign, a pivotal event in his early military career that would prove as a pivotal lesson in his historic career. There you have it. If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue this journey with us, then you can show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It takes just a second, but it means the world to us. Your support helps us create more content and helps us reach more history enthusiasts like you. Till next time when we explore even more hidden history.